Guys, welcome back to my channel. I have not filmed this particular video, I feel like in about 6 months, and I keep getting it requested. So I'm like, I have to film it because everybody wants to know what my current favorite foundations are. I have narrowed this down to 5 because while I have so many foundations that I love in my collection, I feel like I really have, as I have gotten older, narrowed it down to the ones I reach for the most often, and it's not as hard for me to pick 5 of those anymore. So 5 it is. I'm not gonna go in any kind of particular order until I get to the last one because I really do feel like I have a favorite foundation now that I can pick out between all of the others. And when I say all the others, y'all, I have at least 50 foundations in my collection. It's insane. But I picked these out within like 30 seconds. So here we go, in no particular order. My newest addition to my top 5, I actually just recently did a kind of mini review while I was playing with new makeup, and it is the Lancome 5-in-1 Teint Idole foundation stick. Now, I had mentioned in that video that I believe they have reformulated this. I do think I tried the original, but it was years ago. So I really can't speak plainly enough about how I feel like this compares to the first one, other than, if I'm remembering correctly, I do like this one way better. I am in the color 330 Bisque Neutral, and you can definitely go back and watch. It was 2 videos ago where I used this in a getting ready kind of with me video playing with new makeup. This is incredibly easy to just slide on the face, buff in with a brush. You could probably even just blend it in with your fingers and be good to go. It does claim to have a matte finish, but I personally find it to be more of a natural, even satin matte finish on my skin, but it lasts so nicely on the skin. To me, it is very similar to the finish of the original liquid Teint Idole Ultra. Maybe a little less matte, even though I don't really feel like that one is super matte. It does have a high alcohol content though, so if you are someone who doesn't want that, now I haven't even checked the ingredients to see if this has alcohol in it, but I know some people think that the liquid is a little tightening on them and they can't really handle it for their dry skin. I don't feel like you would feel the same about the stick formulation. Yeah, so the stick does not have alcohol in it. So if you are someone who liked the finish and the wear of the original liquid, but you did not like how it made your skin feel tight or dry, then this is definitely something to check out. Or if you just like the ease and convenience of a stick foundation, I highly recommend this. I would even go so far as to say I like this more than my Tom Ford stick foundation. I mean, I would say that because my Tom Ford stick foundation is not in this video and this one is. So I highly recommend it and have really been enjoying the ease of use, longevity, and just beautiful finish that it provides on the skin. Another one that I just raved and raved about for about a month after it launched, and then you probably haven't heard me talk about it much, but I can guarantee you it's one I reach for quite often off camera, and it is the IT Cosmetics Your Skin But Better foundation and skincare. And y'all, this is just good. I love this foundation. Now, when I originally did the review, I had a lot of people say that this has glitter in it, like full on glitter. I'm not just saying sheen. I'm like, people were saying it had sparkle in it. I just don't see it. Maybe it's just so fine that it makes the, glitter look like it's just something that's catching the light and it's a sheen to the foundation, but I am not seeing it. So all that to say, I'm like blending it out. I don't see any glitter particles. I don't want anybody to have heard that and have it keep them from trying this foundation because, oh my goodness, just the way it feels on my skin, my hand, it's so silky smooth, but it is not so dewy that you feel like you just kind of have a thin layer of something sitting on top of your skin. I feel like it blends into the skin really nicely. I am in the color Medium Neutral 31. All of these foundations are ones that I can use and I just don't have to think about the fact that they are going to last all day on me. They are going to continue to look the same as when I applied them, because I have some foundations that look really good for like the first 3 hours, and then I start looking shiny even though I'm not oily, or it'll start breaking apart and looking kind of patchy. These don't do this. These are the exact same at the beginning and the end. That's what I need because I wear my foundations for a very long amount of time. I'm filming this video right now at 7:45. My foundation's been on since 7, and I probably won't wash it off until like 8 or 9 o'clock tonight. I want them to last a very long time. This lasts a very long time. It looks absolutely beautiful on the skin. It provides a nice, luminous, fresh finish, but it's not a dewy, greasy finish. It is just smoothing. I feel like this is more of a medium, and you can maybe even build it up to a full coverage, but it doesn't look that way on the skin because I don't ever want something to look like I have a layer of cakey makeup on the skin, and this one absolutely does not. Another one that I love, as you can tell by the amount that I've used, is the Beautycounter Skin Twin Feather Light, right? It's got a long featherweight foundation. It has a long name. I am in the color medium 340 in this, and this has been an instant and long time love of mine ever since it launched. This is more of a medium coverage, and it is probably the most in the middle when it comes to matte and luminous out of all these that I'm going to talk about. It just has a very natural finish on the skin. And when I say it lasts all day, this is one of the best ones under a mask of the ones that I'm going to talk about. It just lasts all day. I don't have to ever think about it. It's super easy to apply. I do prefer applying this one with a sponge versus a brush. I'm not saying it doesn't look right or work right with a brush. I'm just saying I really like it with a sponge. And if you know me, I don't say that about many foundations. There's one other foundation I'm going to talk about where a sponge is my preference, but the majority of my foundations, I prefer to use a brush. So I did want to mention that I do love this with a beauty sponge, but honestly, it looks good no matter how you put it on. It is very buildable depending on how many pumps you use. You can have a sheer coverage, a light coverage, a medium coverage. I really don't feel like I get more than a medium, maybe medium to full, but I'm not one to think that this could be built up to a super full coverage. But if you can sense a theme here, I really appreciate a light to medium coverage. I don't want something that's going to look like a mask on my face. I personally don't have a ton that I need to cover, so there's no use in me going for a super full coverage foundation. Now, the Lancome could probably become super full coverage, but another reason I love the stick formula is because it's so versatile and it's so able to be manipulated in how much coverage you are wanting. So back to the Beautycounter, it's just, if you want something that just looks like super natural skin, but with coverage and perfected and just made into one nice unified color, then this is what you want to check out. I absolutely adore this foundation. This next one is going to be absolutely no surprise. If I am wanting lots of hydration, if I want my skin to feel plump, if I want my skin to look luminous, if I'm just not wanting a ton of coverage, or if I'm wanting to layer this underneath a foundation with some more coverage because my skin needs this plumpness and vitality and it's just looking dull and tired, because y'all, as I get older, the more days I feel dull and tired of my skin and I need this more and more, I hands down will always reach for my Jane Iredale Liquid Minerals Foundation. Now, to be quite honest, I could have included the BB cream in this and the Beyond Matte. I think they have both made my top favorite foundations in the past. It has not changed how much I love those, but if I had to choose one out of all of the Jane Iredale foundations that is my favorite, it would go to the Liquid Minerals. Now, this is a little bit different. It's got little beads of pigment suspended in an aloe vera and hyaluronic acid base. So when you pump this out, it kind of looks like cottage cheese, especially at the beginning. Once you get into it a little bit, it's not going to look as bad, but it's still going to look a little curdled because you're pumping out the base and the pigment. All you have to do is make sure you blend it in well. I actually prefer to put a few pumps on my fingers, rub them together, and apply this like a tinted moisturizer. And I'm telling you, I do not have another foundation that gives me a more hydrated, fresh look than this. Another reason that I love to use this as a primer, if I am wanting a little bit more coverage, I will often put this on, go in with a little bit of the Beyond Matte or the BB cream just on the areas that I need it so that my whole face isn't looking cakey, but it's just looking fresh and awake. And it looks like I had 8 hours of sleep when maybe I only had 5. It's that kind of look. I know I talk about this all the time, but I think that just proves how much I absolutely love it. Now, I can wear Golden Glow and Suntan in this. I do prefer Suntan. It's a little bit darker and gives a little bit more of a like neutral tanned look for me, matches my self-tan a little bit better, but I can use both. All right, we're rounding it out. I can't believe I've already talked about 4 and I am on my last one. I'm wondering if any of y'all can guess what it is. Since you can't talk back to me, I guess I'll never know. But I feel like if you have watched my channel in the last 4 months or so, you're gonna know what I'm gonna talk about. And it is hands down, without question, the Chantecaille Future Skin Foundation in a compact. Now again, Chantecaille foundations as a whole are some of my very favorite, just like Jane Iredale. It's very hard for me to pick an absolute, okay, well, no, let me take that back. It wasn't hard for me to pick this as my favorite, but it's very hard for me, I guess I should say, to not include the rest of them in this video. I did a video where I showed all 4 of them. I tried out all 4 of them. I demoed all 4 of them. I told you how they were different, how they were like, who would be best suited for each one. I will try to remember to put the card up so you can go check that out. But out of all of them, this is just so good. It's so good. I have the color Nude. They have not as many colors as a lot of people would think a foundation would be, but they span a lot of skin tones. I know people who wear like maybe even 2 to 3 shades darker foundations than me in other brands and formulas that wear the same shade in this. That shows how much one color can. Oh, y'all, the garage just opened. I'm like, what is that? It's Chad coming home, but it's really raining and thundering. And I'm like, what's shaking the house? Because there's supposed to be bad storms later. And I'm like freaking out. Okay, anyways, back to normal programming. One shade of this will cover a lot of skin tones. I've just seen proof of it in other people wearing the same color. So anyways, I wear Nude. This is another one that I really prefer to wear or apply with a beauty sponge versus a brush or the little pad that it comes with. I have tried it with this. I feel like personally it soaks up too much product. Some people will say that of the beauty sponge, and that's okay. That's the joy of makeup. It's personal preference and nobody has to do what I say. You just do what works best for you, and a sponge works best for me. This right here is what I have on today. And I'm telling you, it is a filter and a cushion. I don't know how else to explain it. When you're applying it, did y'all hear that thunder? Oh. I'm just not good with storms. Not at all. When you are applying this, it almost feels like you're not putting anything on. Like you're looking in the mirror and you're like, what? Like, I don't feel like I'm applying anything. Like you can't really see even the product. Like when you're applying a foundation, you can see the product being blended onto your skin. Sometimes I'm like, am I getting any on my sponge? And I am. And it's not until I am done with my makeup that I realize that I applied this stuff, because it is magic when it comes to blurring the skin without looking like you have makeup on. Okay. It does not look like you have any kind of foundation on when you have this. And out of all of the ones that I have talked about, this is the only one that I personally feel comfortable not setting, which is crazy to me because I, again, personally enjoy setting my foundations with powder. Even though I did today set it with a powder, do not often set this with any kind of powder. So if you are someone who really enjoys nothing but cream makeup, This is a great one to look into. If you're someone who doesn't really like to set their foundation, but still likes using powders on top, and some formulas make that harder to blend. This is not going to make it harder to blend. I can blend powder bronzers and blushes and highlights on top of this without setting it very easily. I just honestly have nothing bad to say about it. A lot of people will say the price is a con. This is a cushion. It comes with a refill. So you are getting 2 cushions, which account for a total of 0.84 ounces in product, which is not that much less than a traditional 1 ounce foundation. It is expensive. However, it's Chantecaille. It's a phenomenal foundation, and they give back. So Chantecaille is a huge philanthropic organization. This specific foundation gives back to I believe it's the Sheldrake Elephant Fund, and for every cushion purchased, it gives a bottle of formula to baby elephants through this fund, which, come on. It's worth it. It's worth it when I hear stuff like that. And when the product is so phenomenal. I don't think anybody would be upset with any of these purchases. They are just strong, strong, strong loves of mine. And if I were forced to give up my entire collection, which first world problems, I know, and I was able to keep these 5, I would be super happy. So hopefully you enjoyed this video. As always, when I do my favorites, I want to know what your favorite is. So be sure and share with me and everybody else down in the comment section your favorite foundation at the moment, so we can all see what everybody is loving. So thank y'all so much for watching. I hope you're all staying happy, safe, healthy, and sane, and that you all go out and have a very blessed day.